Well, I was actually able to make it to the Virginia State match my 3rd year in a row. It's only the 4th one. Started at stage 1, and you can see what time we started, about 8:22 in the morning. We flowed really well in the very beginning. I'll explain why the time's on there later. Here you had to start, retreat, shoot 2 on those, and you had 2 on paper, each piece of steel on other paper, and forward 2 pieces of static paper and a swinger that was activated by that steel. Did fairly well on this stage. It was a good way to start. You see we're moving along good. Not even 20 minutes later, I'm shooting the 2nd stage. And again, this one's is called house clearing. You have to get your gun, load it, back up, retreating, shoot those 3 targets. Then you had 3 more targets within that hallway, or within that doorway, and then go down the hall, and there was 2 more targets at the very end of the hall. Kind of slow and deliberate on some of these things, trying to just make sure I get good hits. I was not going to this match with expecting anything. It's more just for fun. I've been out of practice this year. Stage 3, and to start here, and you go right or go left. Of course, I'm right-handed, so I went right first. It's quicker to go right to the right. I don't know why so many people decided to go left first, but then you go to the right and here at the end, so you can do your reload, because you know you're going to go empty. There's 2 targets there, and there's 2 targets on the left side. Again, we're flowing real well. These guys do an excellent job. Here, you have targets that are going to drop out when you hit the stomp plate, so you have to retreat, 2 on each, go to the left or right. Stomp plate drops out an opposite target. So you 2 targets down there, then you've got those 2 again. You have to shoot the center target a 2nd time. Then you've got another dropout that comes from the left side when you go to the right. So 2 on the ones down there, and then the 2 on each of those, the one that dropped out and the center one. This is 3 strings on this stage. It's a little bit different than what is drawn on here. Actually, you have to draw, advance, 2 on each. And the next time you have to draw from the right side, and go right to left, 2 on each if you're right-handed. And then draw and go weak or support hand, 2 on each. Here you start seated at the table, and you have to actually draw and shoot all these 3 targets while seated, and then you have to stand up and you can shoot around the barrel there and down the corridor. And all your reloads have to come from that box that's sitting on another table. So around the back of the car, you shoot the targets that are there, do your reload, go forward, you got 3 more to shoot at the front of the car, and slip and fall there. Just another way to prove that I'm out of shape. Now here we go to another stage where you had some movement, and it was more of a almost like a USPSA stage, other than you had to use cover. There's a piece of steel right there that I missed. Actually, I nicked it. I had to go back and hit it. Then there's another piece of steel, and then I had some paper that I had to clean up. As you move through, you got to know where you're going to put your footwork to stop, and then 2 at the very end. Here on stage 8, that's another one where we had to do some movement. Drawn 2 to the body, 1 to the head, and then there was another one 20 yards away that you got to shoot, and I almost left without shooting it. I was luckily enough I was able to step back and get it, and they didn't give me a procedural on that one. And then you have to move down this corridor. There's some more on the left, and there's 2 on the right. The one you can see, and there's one sharp right, back behind some barrels. Now here we go where I totally blew the match. This one killed me. The idea is this is kind of like a classifier modified, where you start, shoot around one side of the barricade, 2 on each, do attack load, other side of the barricade. Here I nicked the barricade, there I shot the barricade. That was terrible. My reload was terrible. Now 2 on each here. You gotta do another attack reload. Once you do that attack reload, you move forward to the barrel. So here I drop the mag, and then so that cost me time. Do my reload, now it falls out of my pocket, so I get a procedural anyway. And then 2 on each underneath that stick on top of the barrel. Points down were terrible, time was terrible, it was a bad stage. Now we're on to stage 10, which was okay. This one you draw and it's in tack sequence. So 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, and then you come over and it's tack priority around the backside. You just have to do 1 reload, shooting production, or SSP, mixing up my games here. This one's a unique one too, because you start with 3 in the gun, draw and fire 3 on the left target, go to slide lock, do your reload, now 3 on the far target, do attack load. Now this is important because now you're going to go forward, you're going to do 3 on the one on the right, 3 on the left, do another attack load. But you got to remember, you've used 2 your mags, so you got to get the one in your pocket now, and go forward and 3 on each one of the inside targets in the head box. And it was limited; you could not make up any shots. You can notice the time here. It's not too bad. We had a little bit of break for lunch, and we started about an hour later or so. This array, steel, 1 shot on that head, 2 on each of those. Then you go to the right side. It's basically the same thing, but then you finish off on that middle array of 3 with 2 on each. And it went fairly well. But now you notice we're at 3 o'clock, so it pushed back later. This is the one thing those guys had. They had a little bit of a hiccup with stages in the end of this one bay. Here you can notice it was a piece of steel I'm shooting at. One had missed, then I hit it, and there was a drop down, and I took 3 shots at, which caused me to run dry in that opening. Didn't even think about it. Did a slide log reload across an opening, so I got a procedural. Flowed pretty well. I mean, a 3-second penalty, but it probably only cost me a 1.5 seconds. Here I got another procedural. Here you start facing away. You have to turn, draw, and then shoot a target in the opening. I moved too far out, and I got into the opening in the other one and exposed myself from cover. And then you had to finish off all the targets down there. I lost sequence of where I was going to go. By here, at time, I was brain dead. No excuses. I'm just out of shape. And I was tired by that time. This stage, you start with the gun in the box. You're going to rack the slide, 2 on each. Do a slide lock reload, finish it. The last stage is kind of a symmetrical with hardcover targets. Basically go left or right, 2 on each, and then a piece of steel on both sides. But then in the very back, in the middle, is a popper that you have to shoot that's in front of 2 no-shoots. So you got to make sure you get that shot without missing it. It was a great match. Glad my son was able to make it, and I had a great squad, and I'll be back again next year.